YouTube with the Boston Celtics set to take on the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference semifinals. What are we thinking about this series, man? I want to give my predictions and preview in this video, everything I think is important to note for this series and what exactly will happen and who's going to win this series, how many games it'll go. We're going to talk about all that good stuff in this video, so make sure you guys stick around. This is a series, I've said this before, but I would expect 99% of people to be taking Boston in this series, and we'll get to my predictions in a little bit. But I do think there's a lot of good matchups for Cleveland, and I'm going to talk about that in this video. I'm not saying Boston's in trouble or anything like that, but I am saying on paper, I think Cleveland has one of the better matchups roster-wise for Boston in this Eastern Conference, and let's get into that a little bit. So first things first, I'd like to note that Kristaps Porzingis is likely to be out the entire second round. So the entire series of this, he could be out with this calf injury, right? You know, he's been their third best player all season. Has been the biggest difference for them, in my opinion, other than Jrue Holiday on this team, and why they've been so great this year. And it's just added a big level of dynamic offense and defense to this team, being able to add flexibility to what they want to do on the floor. So Kristaps being out is a huge deal. I know Jarrett Allen is also slightly injured. He missed game 6 and game 7, I believe, of the Cavs Magic series, and they won anyway. But Jarrett Allen is obviously a key contributor to the Cavaliers roster. He's a big part of what they do and what they want to do in this series. So I think if Jarrett Allen comes back for game 1 and plays this whole series without Kristaps Porzingis on the floor, that could be some trouble for the Celtics. You know, I've talked about before how I think the Cavaliers' size in the paint and, you know, strength down low with their versatile bigs and being able to defend multiple positions with guys like Evan Mobley. You have a great anchor in Jarrett Allen. You have a guy who is just going to get crazy offensive rebounds and one of the best rebounders in the league in Jarrett Allen, and finisher at the rim, pick and roll guys. So without a guy like Kristaps Porzingis to be able to defend those pick and rolls of Garland and Allen and Mitchell and Allen, this is going to be a tough series to lock up without your, you know, best rim protector. So the Celtics are obviously one of the more defensive, versatile teams. They switch a lot and they can do a ton of switches with their size in the front court, and guys like Tatum and Brown can, you know, lock up bigger defenders, smaller defenders if they want to, and help defense. It's a really, really great defense they have there. Jrue Holiday, one of the best perimeter defenders in the entire league. But like I said, on paper, I think the Cavs are a little bit bigger inside than the Celtics, especially now without Kristaps Porzingis being healthy. And assuming Jarrett Allen plays these games, he's gonna be a real troublemaker in the paint for the Cavaliers. You know, you don't really have a great matchup for him. You could put Al Horford, you could throw a lot of bodies at him and maybe do a team effort kind of thing on Jarrett Allen. But these two guys, Allen and Mobley, are going to give the Celtics a ton of trouble in this series, mark my words. As far as the offensive side of the ball for Cleveland, you know, I think this is where the, you know, troubles are going to lie, because you have great matchups if you're Boston for what Cleveland likes to do offensively. You know, their primary two scorers being guards, and then the third and fourth guys being wings. You know, other than Mobley and Allen, you're really relying on most of your offense to come from two smaller guards, which I think is going to be a problem for the Cavaliers with the Celtics' size and versatility defensively. I'm imagining a scenario where Jrue Holiday and Jaylen Brown take the two biggest matchups, Garland and Mitchell, and those are bad matchups for Cleveland. You know what I mean? It's going to be a group effort. Like I said, you know, there's things that you can do to manipulate matchups and coverages and stuff like that, but these are bigger defenders on smaller guards. And we saw in the Orlando series, Mitchell and Garland struggled at times against the bigger defenders. They struggled with a great defense, and if their shots aren't going in, man, Cleveland's offense gets real stagnant and real disjointed. So, you know, there's a lot of ways you can really disrupt offensively what Cleveland likes to do. If D-Mitch gets hot, you know, he's one of the best scorers in the entire NBA, one of the best offensive players, period, right? And he actually had a really good series, you know, but there's a lot of games where, you know, he can be inconsistent depending on what you throw at him. So I'm sure if you're Boston, it's kind of unfortunate that they just played the Magic, the Cavaliers, because, you know, you're going into this wanting to do a lot of new things, and they've seen probably a lot of defensive looks from the Magic. That's their big thing. So, you know, Cleveland's going to be ready for a lot of that kind of stuff, but just, you know, talent-wise, on paper, matchup-wise, I think this is a bad matchup for Cleveland's backcourt, which is most of their offense. But defensively, I think the size of the interior and the front court is a good matchup for Cleveland. So as far as who is going to guard, you know, the Celtics' best players, right? That's something you really have to consider, because there's not a lot of great wing defenders on this team. You have Isaac Okoro, who's probably going to be your number one guy defensively from the wing position. You know, he'll take a guy like Tatum or Brown as much as he can. Evan Mobley is going to be able to, you know, guard smaller people. So like a Tatum, like a Brown, he'll be able to be there and help. You know, he's one of the best defenders in the entire league. I'm not worried about that. But the big thing I want to focus on in this video, like I said, is just the size down low, right? I think that's going to be an issue for the Celtics. And now that you don't have Kristaps to take these guys out of the paint when he can, Celtics like to space the floor a lot. They like to keep 5 shooters on the floor. Now it's going to be harder to do that because, you know, you might be able to get 5 shooters on the floor, but they might not provide as much versatility as Kristaps does. And it might be more of like a Sam Hauser or Al Horford instead of Kristaps, which is a massive loss. boss. You know what I mean? Nothing against those guys, but they're not Kristaps, and they just can't do what he does. So, you know, rebounds are going to be big for Boston. They have to commit to team rebounding and group rebounding, and that's going to be something to keep an eye on, especially the defensive rebounds. You know, Cleveland is one of the better offensive rebounding teams with guys like Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley. Just big bodies down there, you know? You can't always make up for size. So I think there's going to be a couple games in this series where you get out rebounded quite a bit if you're Boston. Maybe you lose focus a little bit. That's something they struggle with. And you just let Cleveland have their way inside, right? And I think that's something that could, you know, happen a couple games in this series. So Boston has got to commit to giving a lot of effort on, you know, the little things, like I said, the hustle plays, the rebounding, the intensity. That's what Cleveland really does well. But I think Cleveland might, you know, really struggle offensively at times. And that's why I think the Celtics overall are going to win this series in 6 games. I'm going to give the Cleveland the benefit of the doubt and say 6 games, but I really think it's more like 5 games. But I do see, you know, a couple games being really, really close for Cleveland in this series, and most likely the home games for them. And they just, you know, win those close games, and they're out rebounding and out hustling the Celtics. So that's going to be a tough thing for the Celtics. You know, Jarrett Allen is going to be a real X factor in this series. That's a guy to watch out for. Hopefully he gets healthy. You know, he's a great player, and I want everyone to be healthy. Hopefully Kristaps gets healthy for this series. You know what I mean? I hate the Celtics. I'm not a Celtics fan by any means, but Kristaps, you know, I want everybody to play at their best and get the outcome of the best team winning. And that's probably what will happen anyway, even without Kristaps, which I think the better team is clearly the Celtics. But either way, you know, you want the best result as a basketball fan in general. Like I said, me personally, I'm rooting for Cleveland, but I just don't think they're good enough, and I don't think they're going to win the series unless something crazy happens that I'm not foreseeing. But we'll see, man. Hopefully, you know, if Cleveland can steal one at, you know, on the road in the first couple games in the TD Garden, I think that'll be big for the series, but I don't foresee that happening. I think Boston's just going to come out and dominate early, you know, on their home floor, protect home, and then Cleveland's going to get a lot of good shots to win it, you know, these close games, and they probably just won't because they're not on the Celtics level. So like I said, things to watch out for: rebounding, interior presence, hustle, effort inside, right? Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley, these are the 2 guys, mostly Jarrett Allen. He comes back healthy. I think the interior of the, you know, the paint in this series is going to be totally one-sided for Cleveland in terms of, you know, offensive rebounding. These are things to watch, right? Hustle, rebounding, Jarrett Allen. And on, you know, the Boston Celtics side, I think one of the things they can do is try to group rebounding, group effort on these big guys. Don't let them disrupt what you're trying to do. Get them in foul trouble. That's another thing. These guys, both of them, can get in foul trouble pretty easily. Jarrett Allen's pretty foul prone, and Evan Mobley can be at times as well. So I think if you get, you know, you get Tatum and Brown downhill early, get these guys in foul trouble, man. That's the big way to win the, you know, early battle in these games if you are the Celtics. Now, like I said, Celtics in 6, probably in 5, but I'm going to give Cleveland the benefit of the doubt. I think they make a few of these games a little bit close and just win the interior and win the games, but I do think it's going to be more like 5 games. But hopefully Cleveland can win this series, you know, because I don't like the Celtics, but hopefully we get the best result basketball-wise that we can get. Like I said, make sure you guys drop a like on this video if you guys did enjoy it. Make sure you check out all my other videos because I do a lot of these types of predictions, previews. I actually have a perfect first round bracket in my playoff predictions video, so make sure you guys check that out. Hopefully I'm right about the second round ones too. I feel a little bit less confident about these second round matchups as they are, you know, teams that are closer in skill set, so it's gonna be harder to predict those. But you know, the first round I did get a perfect bracket. Make sure you guys check it out. Hopefully you guys are enjoying, you know, the playoffs as much as I am, and the second round is always fun. Not for my Sixers, we're not even in it this year, which is unfortunate. Hopefully you guys have a fantastic rest of your day today. Make sure you guys let me know down in the comment section who you think's winning this series. Probably the Celtics, right? Obviously. How many games do you think it'll go? What do you think the, you know, X factors are for this series? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I'm wrong about a lot of things all the time, so I'm open to being wrong, and make sure you guys correct me if I am, because it's really important to me that I get updated on the information that you guys have. So definitely let me know, and hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day today. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Drop a like, turn on notifications, all that good stuff. Follow my socials, links are in the description. Hopefully your favorite NBA team wins their next game, and hopefully your favorite team isn't the Celtics, because we're gonna have some beef. I'm totally joking, but it's crazy. Celtics fans aren't even someone I can, you know, argue with anymore, because the Sixers just haven't been on their level for so many years. We're just not even a threat to them. We're a meme to them, right? Anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next one. This is your boy D-Haven. As always, peace.